I'll start with you, Mr. Watkins. It has been said we live in a post-Constitution America. The violations of our most basic rights are numerous and too many to list in the time we have in our forum. If the federal government refuses to adhere to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, what responsibility would you have as Governor of Texas to ensure that Texans are afforded our civil rights?
Great question. First, I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank the candidates. You guys have sacrificed a lot of time and dedication for making your family. And I know the sacrifices that it takes to run a statewide campaign now, and I want to thank y'all for stepping up and all the other candidates as well. The federal government would not like me as governor, that's for damn sure. We'll send a real strong message to the federal government that they just don't want to come here to Texas, and if they do, we're going to arrest them for trespassing. And if they keep coming, we'll have to use any force necessary possible to tell them to leave Texas and leave us alone, because we are free and we want to be a free state.
Mark, same question. If the federal government refuses to adhere to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, what responsibility would you have as Governor of Texas to ensure that Texans are afforded our civil rights?
I want to first clarify something here. I want to thank Terry Buchanan. I did send him an email where I was endorsing him, and he evidently didn't receive it, and I want to personally apologize for that. But Texas is a sovereign state, and we have to act like we're a sovereign state. We have to stop complaining about what has been taken from us, and we have to stand up and take it back. We can't be suing anybody. We have to, as a free people, as our forefathers did before, if it takes to stand up and write, we, the people of Texas, demand our rights back, that is what we have to do. But we also have to be prepared to back it. We cannot threaten anything if we're not prepared to back it. And as governor, I will be prepared to back taking back all of our constitutional rights that have been taken from us.
Kathy Glass. If the federal government refuses to adhere to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, what responsibilities would you have as Governor of Texas to ensure that Texans are afforded our civil rights?
What do you mean, if? It's been going on for 100 years and nobody's done anything about it. I want to be Texas governor to unite Texans to fight this threat to our liberty from an out-of-control federal government. Chief Justice John Roberts said in the Obamacare case, states are sovereign and independent entities. Sometimes they have to just act like it. Well, that's ironic. He would say that given his decision in the Obamacare case, but put that aside. No, I've been running since 2010 on this issue. It's my signature issue. I want Texas to act like the sovereign state we are. In our state constitution, Article 1, Section 1, it says it right there. We are an independent sovereign state subject only to the United States Constitution. And the Supreme Court is not our supreme masters. I mean, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if we could be a sovereign state and enforce the Constitution right here, right now? We didn't need to wait for a article of states a decade or more for 37 other states to give us maybe permission to act like the sovereign we are. No, this is my fight. This is why I run for governor. This is why Texas has to have a governor who understands it, who's passionate about it, and who understands the federal government will not do anything until it is told to. You stand up to a bully, and yes, when you do, what happens next depends largely on the bully. But he can back down or he can double down, and we need to be prepared. Sometimes they do back down. That's what the Alamo was all about. But they didn't back down there.
Thank you,
so an
Kathy.
act of secession arose out of
Thank you.
constitutional enforcement.
If the federal government refuses to adhere to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, what responsibilities would you have as Governor of Texas to ensure that Texans are afforded our civil rights?
Lysander Spooner says that be it one thing or another, the Constitution has either enabled a government such as this or been powerless to prevent it. People's faith in these documents is rightfully waning. They haven't protected us. There's data for that. The only thing sovereign here is each and every one of you individually. That is the libertarian message that I'm bringing. I'm not riding in on a white horse to free you. I don't have that power. No one has that power. The system doesn't have that power. I'm carrying a draft that you can read of the Declaration of Individual Independence, which should be our message as libertarians. So I ask you to give me your platform to carry your message. Thanks.
All right, Mark, this question goes to you. The top of the ticket candidate, the top of the ticket candidates are in a position to help down ballot candidates. If nominated for governor, you will get access to media resources that local candidates won't have access to. The question, if nominated for governor, what, if anything, will you do to help our down ballot candidates?
I will campaign with all the down ballot candidates. I will go to their constituency. I will go to their territory. I'll go to their towns, their cities, and I will campaign alongside with each and every one of the down party ticket. Being bilingual and bicultural, I did not say Spanish. I intend to use that and capitalize on that from the media outlet, the media coverage that will bring, interviews with all the down party ticket candidates on different TV stations, like interviews that I did yesterday on Univision. And I intend to hand-in-hand campaign with each and every one of the down party candidates.
Captain, this question now goes to you. If nominated for governor, what, if anything, will you do to help our down ballot candidates?
Well, it's not just what I will do, it's what I have done. For the previous 2 times I've run, in 2014, we went to all 254 counties in Texas, and everywhere that there was a candidate there locally, I got on TV, I got on radio, I got in the newspaper, and I touted someone else who was there, and anybody was welcome to come and ride on my bus with me and get off with me and go into interview with me, and we teamed up quite effectively. And I don't get access, I create access. I go and get interviews where I wasn't invited. I don't wait to be invited. I make news. I have the ability to get on TV, and then that helps us all when we work as a team. I've done it before, and I look forward to doing it again.
Patrick, now it's your question. If nominated for governor, what, if anything, will you do to help our down ballot candidates?
There's nothing that motivates humans more than principle. And what I've found nationwide so far, and one internationally, is people interested in what I'm doing here, which is trying to run, for the first time, a 100% non-aggression principle compliant campaign. Call it a NOT campaign, not governor. So what we've started working on forming, that I'll announce today, is the NOT Army. This is a group of people that are interested in this type of activism, but only are interested in it if they can do it in a principled way. So I am absolutely going to be active in helping other candidates. Thank you.
Corey, same question. If nominated for governor, what, if anything, will you do to help our down ballot candidates?
This is very important. I think the person at the top of the ticket has a lot of power, a lot of push for people to look down the ballot. I believe our person at the top of the ticket needs to have a very bold message that attracts people from all demographics, and in that message we can introduce them to the people that are on the down ballot, encouraging them to donate their money, their time. Block walking is a must here in the Libertarian Party, something that we need to step up in, and just to get involved in being activists. Just for the drinking game, guns and weed.
'em. I love it when y'all cheer instead of boo. That's awesome. Gabby Glass, this question goes to you. Frederick Bastiat wrote, "When plunder becomes a way of life for a group of men in a society, over the course of time, they create for themselves a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it." Y'all want to hear that one more time? Because that was pretty powerful, wasn't it? When plunder becomes a way of life for a group of men in a society, over the course of time, they create for themselves a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it. So, Kathy, is it possible to live through a day without taxes touching some part of your life? If elected governor, what would you do to lower the tax burden faced by every Texan?
Well, Bastiat said there are three types of plunder. That's when the few steal from the many steal from the few, and then everybody steals from everybody. And so that's what we're facing. I would get rid of, first, property taxes, especially school property taxes. This requires total information on the educational system, and I've got a plan for that, and you can read up about it at my website, kathyglass.org. I would also get rid of the franchise tax, which acts as an unconstitutional income tax on small business. After I've got rid of those two taxes, I'll work on the other part of property taxes, the non-school part, and let's see what's left. Well, sales tax, we'll work on that next term.
Patrick Smith, is it possible to live through a day without taxes touching some part of your life? If elected governor, what would you do to lower the tax burden faced by every Texan?
Not governor. Here are the following list of items of the types of taxes that are legitimate and moral. I will do nothing but eliminate all forms of extortion over every single human alive on this planet that I can, starting with Texas because we're the best. Taxation is extortion. All forms of taxation are extortion. One of the candidates at this table wants to extort you to pay for her own form of Medicare. Another one of the candidates on this stage wants you extorted to pay for schools because it's in the Texas Constitution. I didn't consent to that. I will allow, consent. Yeah. All taxation is extortion. Thank you.
So, this is where we have a rebuttal, even though Mr. Smith did not name Kathy Glass, and I would not assume the gender of any one of the governor candidates. I knew I'd get a joke in the governor form if I could. Ms. Glass, Mr. Smith has said that you want to do your own form of, I believe it was extortion Medicare?
I don't know what he's talking about, but let me take a wild guess. I've said that we should opt out of Medicaid. It's a 40% of our Texas state budget, and we have no control over it. We just have to opt in or opt out. And I said we should opt out. And that's a considerable amount of money, 40% of our $217 billion budget. And we can use the savings to craft whatever we want for Texans to run Texas with that savings. We will have better services at a lower price.
Thank you, Kathy.
And more sovereignty.
Mr. Smith, I believe that you said one candidate wanted to use taxes for schools, is that correct? Yes. I'm going to assume, based on all the lovely stuff that y'all have put on Facebook, because you're so wonderful and do it with such decorum. Do it with such decorum. I'm assuming that is for you, Mr. Tibbetts.
I will take that assumption. But the comment was, I had simply made a comment that in the Texas Constitution, it does provide that the state of Texas shall provide education. And it was supposed to be free education. And my comment was, it's not free and it's not efficient. But that's as far as I really need to go with that.
Corey, we finally get to you for this question. Aren't you? You must be doing something right, because Patrick didn't call you out. Is it possible? But, Corey, is it possible to live through a day without taxes touching some part of your life? If elected governor, what would you do to lower the tax burden faced by every Texan?
Well, I would do everything in my power because taxation is theft and nobody should pay a dime of tax. It should be all voluntary. If there's a service good enough, us people are going to provide that service. There's a lot of services that government provide that are absolute waste and garbage, and those need to go away immediately. Property tax needs to get eliminated immediately. I can't stand paying property taxes. I think I still owe about 2 years worth. And I'm refusing to pay it until they give me like 100 notices, and then I'm gonna go dump more change on the counter. Any way that you can buck the system, go ahead and do it. If it pour change on the counter, pour change on the counter. Taxation is absolute theft, and we need to get rid of it immediately.
Yeah. Mark, is it impossible to live through a day without taxes touching some part of our lives? If elected governor, what would you do to lower the tax burden faced by every Texan?
First of all, I don't think anyone answered the first part of that, so I will take a shot at it. Under the current situation, I don't think you can not only not go a day, I don't think you can go an hour without running into something that you're going to get taxed on. Tax is theft. It's extortion. Anything that is taken from you against your will is theft and extortion, period. There is no ands, if, or buts about that. However, and there's always a however, Leonardo da Vinci said, we have to realize that everything is interconnected. And everything is interconnected. And unfortunately, we can't wave a magic wand and totally get rid of taxes. While I would love to do that, I would love to get rid of the property tax. I would love to get rid of every taxation possible. However, as we go through this, and as we go through the process of getting rid of taxes, we also have to address the expenditure, because along with the drug, there is the addiction, and we have to attack both of them. Finish.
All right. Next question. This one goes to you, Patrick, first. Running for any office is a costly venture. Besides trying to secure donations, how much of your personal time and money are you willing to commit to win the governor's seat if nominated?
I've been a near full-time activist for almost 2 years now, since I exited my most recent venture. Luckily, I was successful enough to be able to self-fund myself for a time, which I've chosen to use to take my activism as far as I possibly can. I think the not governor of Texas is just about as far as anybody should want to go. And so I'm here to offer my services. I'm looking to be hired by you to take your message, the libertarian principle. There's only one, should only be one plank in the platform, the non-aggression principle. I'm here to bring that to as many eyes and ears as I can find. So I hope that you'll hire me for that job.
All right, Corey, going to you. Running for any office is a costly venture. Besides trying to secure donations, how much of your personal time and money are you willing to commit to win the governor's seat if nominated?
Yes, I've been campaigning for almost a year now, and I think my kids would like me back at home, and my work would probably like me back at work more. I've sacrificed a lot, and I'm willing to sacrifice it all. This takes a lot. This really does. I've learned a lot during this campaign and how much sacrifice and dedication and money that it takes away from your family. And so it's a huge sacrifice. And again, thank you everybody on the stage and all the candidates that have come forward to put your hat in the ring. It takes a lot to do this. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And that's the reason why I put my hat in this ring, and that's the reason why I want to win this nomination and continue to get on the ballot against Greg Abbott and to win this nomination and to win this election.
Mark, your question. Running for any office is a costly venture. Besides trying to secure donations, how much of your personal time and money are you willing to commit to win the governor's seat if nominated?
When I first started this venture, I first had to consult my boss, which is my wife, to make sure that both our time, our wallet, was available. Since then, I have wrapped up all the cases that I have been working on, except one that will take probably a week of my time to finish. After that, I plan on dedicating 100% of my time to the campaign. My wife is a special needs teacher. This will be her last season to teach, and she will campaign with me 100% of the time as well. My children have agreed to all back me. Of course, they're all in college, which I'm paying for, so they have to agree. But I intend on spending every waking hour on this campaign, because I don't intend on only gaining ballot access. I intend on winning.
Kathy, your question. Running for any office is a costly venture. Besides trying to secure donations, how much of your personal time and money are you willing to commit to win the governor's seat if nominated?
Tell me about it. Going to 254 counties, it takes a lot of work and a lot of money. In 2014, I raised and spent about $250,000, and most of it was my own. This time, I don't propose to do that. I'm getting professional fundraisers. I'll probably put about $100,000 of my own money in it, but we'll see about that. But the time is 24/7. I proved this. Other people can say what they will do. You know what I have done. I will say when they filed the ethics reports with the TEC where candidates show how much they've raised and spent in the previous period, I was the only person on this stage who had $1 in their account. I had, I think, 12,000, but the others had 0. Corey had raised money and spent it down to 0. The others had not raised a penny or spent a penny, and I think that's very telling.
So,
we're going to allow rebuttals from the other 3 candidates. We'll start first with Corey.
I've raised thousands and thousands of dollars for my campaign, and not a dollar has been mine. And we have donations coming from inside the party and outside the party, people who are interested in being libertarian. And so I'm proud to say that all of the money that has been thrown my way has been all voluntarily from people who want to be involved in my campaign. And they're
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark, you have a 30-second rebuttal if you so choose.
I guess Kathy knows a little bit more than my treasurer does, and that's a question for her to answer, because I don't know. I don't think it's a matter of how much money you can raise. I think it's a matter of how wisely you can spend it. To spend $250,000 to get 66,000 votes is not very wise spending.
Patrick, you have 30 seconds to respond.
I sure wish you'd saved $100,000, because I'm not sure the last $250,000 did any good. I've never been accused of being frugal like it was a bad thing before. I've gotten 250,000 human eyeballs in the state of Texas to watch my content. For free! And that's my case.
Kathy, I believe that both Patrick and Mark called into question how you're spending $250,000 to get 66,000 votes, and you have 30 seconds to rebut.
Well, you know, you have to be there. You have to have it spend until we can compare apples and oranges, until it's just a wish. We did the best we could with what we had. I know nobody could have worked any harder, and I don't think anybody could have done any better. It was a very hard environment where Greg Abbott was the hope and change candidate, and he had a lot going for him. It was a very difficult thing to do, and I exceeded norms for our gubernatorial candidate. I didn't do as well as we thought we would, but we put all into it.
Thank you. This is Corey's question. This question is for you, Corey. As you are well aware, immigration is a hot button issue for state and federal candidates. What, if any, changes would you like to see to the Libertarian Party of Texas immigration platform? And the second part of the question, also, if elected, how would you implement your immigration policies in Texas? So we'll take the first one. What, if any, changes would you like to see to the Libertarian Party of Texas immigration platform?
I like it as it stands. I believe people should be able to come here freely, do business freely, travel freely. That's the first part of the question.
I take it you're speaking to the platform that is currently, not to what has been proposed.
Sure.
Thank you. Also, if elected, how would you implement your immigration policies in Texas?
Well, I would do everything in my power to start making it more accessible for people to come here freely, to spend their money freely, visit their families freely, have job opportunities. I don't even think we need to be checking people's IDs at the border. People need to come across freely and do their business and go back freely if they need to. I think the worst thing we can do is put the government on the border. The government lies, steals, and kills from us, and I'm tired of it. Why do we keep trusting in somebody that lies and steals from us every day? I'm tired of it.
Thank you, sir. Mark, well, the same thing will tackle the first part of that question. What, if any, changes would you like to see to the current, I'm going to add the word current so that y'all don't have to address the platform proposed changes, current Libertarian Party of Texas immigration platform?
I agree with Corey. I like it just the way it is.
Also, if elected, how would you implement your immigration policies in Texas?
This is a question that is not easy to answer because it allows a lot of misunderstanding. I am not for open borders, but I am for open immigration. We should be opening our arms to peaceful, hardworking people that wish to come here, work, invest, seek the American dream. We should be embracing them as our ancestors were embraced. We are all truly immigrated to this great nation and this great state, other than some who were born here. But we should be open, receiving, and kind to all immigrants who wish to come and participate in this wonderful venture of the American dream.
What, if any, changes would you like to see to the current Libertarian Party of Texas immigration platform?
Well, I'm thinking that it has peaceful and the word peaceful in it. Is that the one, is that the current version? If it has peaceful persons to come openly, then I'm for that. So I can't really tell you the exact words that it says right now. But I am for a welcoming immigration system and a secure border. We can have both. And immigration is not a federal function. It's not in the Constitution. Naturalization is, but not immigration. And in times past, states have handled that. And we should do that again. I've seen documents, I've seen pictures on the Texas border where we had our own entry points. We should have a made-for-Texas guest worker program. And we can have other programs too for student or medical. But we should be easy come, easy go. You need a few simple tests, and you're good to come and go. And that would take a lot of pressure off of the border. There would be no incentive to come through to trespass on private property, because most of Texas border with Mexico is private property, a little bit of federal property in Big Bend, but most of it's private. So you step across that border, you're trespassing on somebody's property. But there would be no incentive to do that if we had a good, fast, easy way to come and go as you please. So that's what I mean. We can have both a secure border and a welcoming immigration policy if we let Texans run Texas and handle both of these aspects of this question.
What, if any, changes would you like to see to the Libertarian Party of Texas current immigration platform?
I think the platform should basically be the non-aggression principle. So that's my answer to that.
Also, if elected, how would you implement your immigration policies in Texas?
I don't have the hubris to have an immigration policy. Here's the thing. The reason why I don't is not because I think it would be better or more effective or we would be safer. It's because the principle of the Libertarian Party, the principle is I don't have the right to control other peaceful humans. No one in here has the right to control other peaceful humans that are outside of your private property. Right. Public property is an invalid form of property. There is no such thing as the border that we have a right to assault people at.
That's right.
That's the principle. And how I would enforce it, I'm sure there's a few people in Texas that would love to go on a federale hunt to kick some feds out of the state. They think they can control that land down there.
All right, our next question goes to Mark. This is kind of a similar question to one asked earlier, but it was different enough when they were submitted that we made this a separate question. So some people might think this is deja vu, okay? All right, Mark, here you go. In any campaign, name recognition is key. A good portion of getting that name recognition is to get media coverage. Here's the question. With the prejudice of mainstream news to cover LP candidates and events, what experience do you have in getting media coverage, and how would you break through and get local and statewide attention?
Échale con ganas.
If I respond to that, then they'll have to drink, so.
They want to drink, Mark. They want to drink so bad.
Tenemos que ver a Telemundo! In all seriousness, the way you create the interest of the news media, there's two ways. You can throw money at it, or you can create events that interest the news media. That's what I intend to do. I intend to go to the people, where the people are, speak to them in their own language sometimes, if necessary, en español. So, but that's how you create. That's the only two ways you create news coverage, is to either create the event that they're interested in following, like I have created with Univision, who is interested in following me and my campaign throughout the state of Texas, with a program they want to start and meet the candidate, meet your state.
All right, Kathy, the question now goes to you. With the prejudice of mainstream news to cover LP candidates and events, what experience do you have in getting media coverage, and how would you break through and get local and statewide attention?
Well, I've done this. I went to all the big major media centers, every place that had a TV station in 2014, and I got on TV not just once, but anytime I went, except in Sherman, Texas, and I didn't figure out what they had against me. But I've done this, and we go there, we roll up in the bus, and we go in, and we knock at the door, and we meet with the receptionist, and before you know it, I'm talking to the news director, I'm on the Sunday morning political show, and so that's how we do it. And I was on interview by Telemundo Univision last Saturday when I went to Almost Park for the big gun rally, the police brutality rally. I was the only candidate, not just on this stage, but any candidate at all that went and spoke up for our gun rights and for police accountability. And I got lots of good coverage off of that. So in 2014, we had to pull the plug on the NSA. We went to San Antonio, where one of two NSA super spy centers are, and we held a big rally there. Didn't have as big a turnout as we would like, but we got good coverage, and it was a good issue to unite us. So I've done this. I look forward to doing more of it, but we don't just sit there and wait for the media to come to us. We go to them. We knock on the door and we get interviews and we get coverage.
Patrick, now your question. With the prejudice of mainstream news to cover LP candidates and events, what experience do you have in getting media coverage, and how would you break through and get local and statewide attention?
Media is my activism. It's what I do, it's what I love. I love bringing attention to good things happening. And once I have the attention, I know how to use it. I know how to talk to people. I know how to describe our principles and our beliefs and why they're not only the ethical ones, but they're the best ones. They work out to be the best result in the end. Just on raw numbers, my 250,000 eyeballs in my very short candidacy is an order of magnitude larger than any of my competitors during this time. And if I'd have had 100 grand, it would have probably been 2.5 million. Just saying.
Corey, question comes back to you. With the prejudice of mainstream news to cover LP candidates and events, what experience do you have in getting media coverage, and how would you break through and get local and statewide attention?
Yeah, I believe you have to create it and for people to come, and we've been really good at this. I personally have been covered from Dallas Morning News to MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, all the way worldwide. We even had RT come out and cover one of our open carries and cop watches. If you Google my name, it's everywhere. You can find news articles on news articles on news articles. And then during our 11 months of campaigning, we've already hit the front page of several newspapers, been in all the way from Cherokee County to San Antonio to Houston. That's right, I'm from Cherokee County, Savannah. I see you. But it's what you do and your message. You got to be bold. You got to do what other people aren't doing and create it. And that's how you get it. And our campaign has done an amazing job at that.
Texas Rangers!
Kathy, this question is for you. This question is pulled from current events. As you might be aware, I hope you're aware. As you might be aware, President Trump has ordered National Guard troops to the U.S.-Mexico border. I'm going to allow that boo. I'm going to allow the boo. Before him, both President George W. Bush and Barack Obama have made similar moves. Also allowed, yes. If elected governor, what would you do to take back the state's control over the Texas National Guard?
Well, how many times do I have to say, let Texans run Texas? We do not need a federalized National Guard on our border. Greg Abbott had to give the consent for this to happen, so I would just take it away and tell them they need to leave. Now, I have advocated the governor use this Texas State Guard to operate on the border, because that's the governor's prerogative. Even the state legislature can't tell them how to use the Guard. The State Guard is our state militia. It has a very old and honorable tradition. It's fallen into disuse. But we need to train them to have border operations in their sphere. And we need to do that because the local law enforcement, the sheriffs, are just out of, they can't handle this. It's too big a job. The distances are too wide. It can be 100 miles from the border to where the sheriff is in some of these large West Texas counties. So they need someone down there to help them and to assist local landowners, property owners, to defend their property and to defend against trespass and other crimes under Texas law. So that is the way we can secure the border, but it has to be something that Texas does and that we control. We cannot have a federal Army or National Guard down there that we have no control over. We don't know what they're there for. They say that they're not going to violate posse comitatus because they're not going to do anything except watch.
Time. Thank you, Kathy. I was all caught up in the answer. Patrick, if elected governor, what would you do to take back the state's control over the Texas National Guard?
Not governor.
Not governor. What we just heard was someone calling themselves a libertarian describing how they're going to take command of an army that they have unilateral control over funded by taxation. Pisses me off. It should piss you off too if you're libertarian. Can't pay for it without taxation. It's gone. That's how I would handle it.
Kathy, I'm assuming when he said we just heard, he was speaking of you. So,
Our party is not for instant elimination of all taxes or all government. That's not in the platform. That's not who we are. We're for reducing government. We're for reducing taxes anywhere we can. We have $800 million in our Texas budget for border operations, more than that, but they hide it at different places. We don't need that much. I can cut that, and I could, because governor has line item veto. I could cut that out and say, no, we're going to do it for a lot less than that, because you do it
Thank you,
efficiently.
if elected governor, what would you do to take back the state's control over the Texas National Guard?
Well, I think that we should have a non-aggressive a way to deal with our border issue. The war on drugs is horrible. We need to end that. We need to end the incentives of other people working for free stuff. And we need to go down there and talk to the communities that are dealing with this issue and see what they have to say and come up with non-aggressive ways to protect our border. And we need to tell the federal government to leave Texas alone and go the hell away.
If elected governor, what would you do to take back the state's control over the Texas National Guard?
Can I correct the question a little bit?
It's your 90 seconds. Please do whatever you would like.
When I'm elected governor, the way you take back the National Guard is you get rid of the need for it. I have lived my entire life with international issues between the United States and Mexico. Believe me, they want their sovereign right as much as we do. The need for the National Guard on the border is eliminated when we have comprehensive immigration policy that allows people to come to this country and allows employers to be able to employ people in this country. And we stop kidding ourselves about the war on drugs. Two-sided issue that, as much as it pains me to say so, we are the main instigators of it for consuming it.
All right, Patrick, we're starting with a new question with you. According to Reuters poll from 2015, 1 in 5 Americans consider themselves libertarian, with younger adults being the most likely to adopt the label. While it would appear that the number of people who identify as libertarians are growing, we still do not have the percentages necessary to win elections even in an off year. Here's the question. How do you intend to reach non-libertarian voters, and what liberty message or messages would you use to appeal to them?
You no longer convince people with politics and plans and policies and committees and advisors and czars. There's no faith in any of that anymore. They've proven it doesn't work. They've proven it's immoral. They've proven it's evil. The libertarian sales pitch is you can have every ounce of freedom you want in your life, and the only price that you're asked to pay for it is that you have to afford the people around you that exact amount of freedom.
That's right.
There's a lot of people with a lot of plans for controlling the people around them. And people are also growing equally tired of being controlled. So they're ready for that sales pitch. It's working. This room is full and it's growing. Thank you.
Corey, the question goes to you. How do you intend to reach non-libertarian voters, and what liberty message or messages would you use to appeal to them?
I would do the same thing that our campaign has been doing for almost a year now, and that is broadcasting the message of libertarianism in the purest form possible. Stop being politically correct about it. Stop watering down our message. People love freedom. And I have proven that in this campaign. We have gone all over the state of Texas, and we're attracting people from all demographics. And it's just so simple. Have a bold message of freedom and pitch it in the correct form, and you will attract people from all demographics.
Mark, your question. How do you intend to reach non-libertarian voters, and what liberty message or messages would you use to appeal to them?
I think that most non-libertarian voters are non-libertarian voters because they do not realize that they are libertarian. We need to get the message out, and the message is simple. The Libertarian Party is el respeto al derecho ajeno, es paz. Respect to the rights of others is peace. If that's what everybody wants, that's the non-aggression principle. That is all libertarianism wrapped up in one. That's what I was raised with. That's what I was born with. That's what my father hammered into my head ever since I was born. And that is what we need to show people, that that is who we are. We are the party that respects your freedom, demands your freedom right alongside with mine. It's not just my freedom that I'm demanding, it is your freedom that I'm demanding, and I will stand up for your freedom.
Kathy, your question. How do you intend to reach non-libertarian voters, and what liberty message or messages would you use to appeal to them?
Gary Johnson said most Americans are libertarian, they just don't know it, and I think that is true for Texans, because Texas is a very conservative state. It's a Republican state. That's the way it's been for a long time. For 20 years, we have tested the hypothesis that you can get liberty through the Republican Party. The hypothesis has failed. After 20 years, the Republicans own every statewide office, the House, the Senate, supermajorities at times. Yet we have higher taxes, higher spending, more debt, less privacy rights, less property rights, less gun rights, and a more out-of-control federal government, nobody doing anything about it. So I try to reach out to those people and I say, we want the same things. We want no property taxes. We want to end asset forfeiture. We want to stop the prison profit system. We want these things. But the people that you put in office don't want, they're not one of us. So let's work together, a team united to fight the things that we want and can have here in Texas if we just understand the power that we have. If we don't waste your vote voting for the corrupt two-party system. Come chart a new course with us, the Libertarian Party of Texas.
We have some breaking news to announce. And this is from the Wall Street Journal. The US, the UK, and France launched strikes against Syria. Trump challenges Russia, Iran over support of the Assad regime. But once again, I'll allow it. That previous question, I'm gonna take a little moderator's privilege, and by God, I'm just gonna do it. That previous question, every single one of these candidates and all of our candidates have been working their asses off. And all you have to do is look around this room at the new faces and see the diversity
Let's hear it for Uber. I think a lot of folks are going to need this tonight.
So this question is for Corey. Being nominated as the top of the ticket for the Libertarian Party of Texas, I haven't even drinking this is water. Being nominated as the top of the ticket for the Libertarian Party of Texas is one of the top honors the party can give to any of our members. As such, it should be reserved for those that have a history of helping the party. How active have you been in the Libertarian Party of Texas?
As soon as I got involved in the Libertarian Party, I was in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Tarrant County, and of course I started voting Libertarian, getting involved. I moved out to the Hunt County area probably about 3 years ago, and there was no presence of a Libertarian Party out there, and that's the first thing I wanted to do. So we affiliated the Hunt County Libertarian Party. I became chairman out there. We have done a bunch of stuff out there. I also started serving on the state executive committee. We have a full slate of delegates and alternates sitting in this room right now, and one of the that's activism, baby. That's activism. Yeah. One of the things that I'm very proud about, and talking on the phone, I've made 350 something phone calls last week. I know that many out here feel the same and have those same concerns, but one of the things I'm very proud about in our county is that for the first time ever in the history, if you live in Hunt County, you will be able to vote for Libertarians on your local ballot.
It's a three-part question, so I want to get to it. You have very little time. How have you helped grow the party's membership, and how many candidates have you created to the ballot here in Texas?
I'm not too sure how many memberships I've created. It's probably more fingers and toes than I can even imagine. We have many candidates here in the room who were inspired by our campaign that is running, and
Thank you, Corey. I did give Corey an extra 5 seconds on that because I had to interrupt him and read him the rest of the questions. Mark, there's 3 questions. We'll start with the first one. How active have you been in the Libertarian Party of Texas?
I ran for Travis County Judge in 2010 when Kathy first came to the party, or back to the party. There was no slide in reality. I was able to garner almost 5% of the votes in that race. I have ran several times before. I have wore blisters on my feet for Johnson Weld. I have wore blisters on my feet for Mark Miller. I have wore blisters on my feet even for Kathy in 2010. I have been as active as I can, raising. I do have 6 children and 7 grandchildren, and putting them through college has been a major chore, but I have been as active as I possibly can.
I will take that as also how you help grow the party's membership. They keep coming, folks. They keep coming. How many candidates have you recruited to the ballot here in Texas?
I cannot, in all honesty, point to somebody that I can say I put them on the ballot. I would like to think that there are some that I have inspired to be on the ballot, but in all honesty, I cannot, and I've never lied to anybody, and I will not lie to you. I cannot really point to anybody that I can say I put them on the ballot.
Thank you. Kathy, the same 3-part question.
I came to the party in 1978. I was the topper, of course. But, and I was our first Attorney General candidate on the ballot in 1982. And I ran for governor in 2010 and 2014. I'm the Harris County Chair in my 3rd term. I recruited most of the statewide candidates, Tom and I recruited, most of the Senate district candidates we recruited. I don't know how many dozens of candidates we recruited all together, but it was a lot. And what was the other question?
How have you helped grow the party's membership?
I have recruited a lot of people. I'm not going to ask people to show their hands if I brought you into the party, but you know who you are, and it's maybe half the people here. I don't know, but I've recruited a lot all over the state. I've run into people because we go and do things. We go to events, we create events, and we meet people, and we say, hey, you should go to your local Libertarian party and get involved. And they do, most of them, and it sticks most of the time, but that's what we've done. And even when we're not running for anything, we go everywhere. We go to Texarkana, or Amarillo, or Brownsville, or Wichita Falls, or Fort Worth. We go and we just get stuff started and hope that it takes effect, and most of the time it does. And I'm thrilled and happy to do that. I'm passionate.
Thank you, Kathy. Patrick, how active have you been in the Libertarian Party Texas, and how have you helped to grow the party's membership?
This is where I speak heresy from the pulpit. The goal is not to grow the party. The goal is to create more freedom. The goal is to create more free minds and free wills and people that know the power of their consent. That I've been doing for quite a while. We have a meetup every Thursday in Dallas, by the way. If you want to come hang out with some awesome volunteerists, you're welcome to join us.
The other part of the question was, how many candidates have you created to the ballot in Texas?
I have a lot of people watching what I'm doing. This is like a grand experiment for a lot of volunteerists to see if it's even possible to run an ethical campaign in this nasty, disgusting, involuntary system. And I think if this proves successful, we're going to have a lot. We're going to have a not army that's going to blow this country away. Voluntarily.
All right, this question goes to Mark. With a total governmental debt, municipal, school districts, and state figured to be well over $60 billion and climbing, how do you plan to reduce, eliminate taxation, pay off the existing debt obligations, and not cause the state and local economies to suddenly collapse due to shock?
Do I have to answer? I don't think a more loaded question could have possibly been created for a libertarian. I have to go back to what I said before about Da Vinci saying that we have to realize that everything is interconnected. And when we realize that everything is interconnected, then we know that we cannot take one step without affecting the other. In order to get rid of taxation, we have to stop spending. And we have to take, it has to be done in baby steps, one step at a time. We have to reach out. As governor, I will have to reach out across the aisle and seek common grounds with Republicans, with Democrats, and move forward in reducing spending to reduce the taxation. That's the only way you can do it. You cannot do it overnight without going into cardiac arrest.
Kathy, question goes to you. How do you plan to reduce or eliminate taxation, pay off the existing debt obligations, and not cause the state and local economies to suddenly collapse due to shock?
We don't have time for baby steps. Time is far forecast for that. We have the second highest debt in the nation. Includes school bond debt. And it's terrible that they've just gone hog wild, and there's no money there. We pay over half our budget goes to education, yet it's never enough. They run out of money because they spend it on debt, on interest, on bonds, on infrastructure, Tajma stadiums, I call them, $60 million for high school football field, and non-teacher salaries. Now, we've got to get this under control, but that debt, I don't see how it can ever be paid off. The debt that is secured by the toll roads or the stadiums or this infrastructure. I don't know what a bankruptcy of a school district looks like. Who is going to buy that collateral, that stadium, and use it for? I don't know, but I think we are going to see. So that's why we do have to tighten our belts, because it's coming. I don't see any way to get around it. We need to use the line item veto to cut our spending. We spend too much. It's not that we tax ourselves too little, it's that we spend too much. And a governor can get that in shape. But I don't know what we can do to pay off that existing debt, because it has just gotten out of control.
Thank you. Patrick, the question now goes to you. How do you plan to reduce, eliminate taxation, pay off the existing debt obligations, and not cause the state and local economies to suddenly collapse due to shock?
There's a lot to go over, so I'm going to go fast. Raise your hand if you consented to a dime of this debt. One. You guys better get to writing checks. If you didn't consent to debt, it's not your debt. I have no responsibility for debt other people incurred without my consent, in violation of my consent. It's not my problem. Not your problem.
Quick!
Yeah, I know. Imagine we ended taxes today. And I'm going to run out of time. But you go home Sunday, and you wake up Monday morning, and your doorbell rings. And it's some guy from the local water company who's frantic because he just lost his paycheck. He wants to keep providing you water service, but he's got to sell you on these plans. And then as soon as he leaves, a cop comes and rings your bell, and he's like, "Hey, I want to keep being a cop. I want my job. Will you please sign up for this security subscription?" You are the one that should be in control. You should not be extorted for all this stuff constantly, every second of your life.
Thank you, Matthew.
Corey, to you. How do you plan to reduce or eliminate taxation, pay off the existing debt obligations, and not cause the state and local economies to suddenly collapse due to shock?
I agree that the debt's not our responsibility. We need to get rid of that. And then I think that the taxation problem, taxation is absolute theft, and we need to get rid of it. And I think that people in general need to come up with the solutions, free market, non-aggressive solutions to figure out that situation. Taxes is absolute theft. If taxation is theft, we need to stop it immediately. If somebody was stealing from somebody, I don't think that we need to stop stealing from them slowly. We need to immediately stop stealing from people and let people freely choose what they want to have, whether it's police, fire, or anything else. Taxation is theft. It needs to stop immediately. Stealing's wrong, and repealing that with baby steps is wrong too. It's still theft. Let's stop stealing from people.
Before we get to the final question, There's a thing that all of our candidates hit on, and I'm going to ask the audience. How many of you have local school bond elections coming up very soon over the next few months? I know where I'm at, we have 2 different school districts with bond issues. That would definitely be a place to start, right? A lot of people don't pay attention to those bond issues or those bond votes. A couple hundred votes make a huge difference.
So I submitted a question, and it was picked. It hasn't been picked. We're gonna start with you, Kathy, but this is the last question of the evening, and I'm gonna once again take a moderator's privilege. One of the jobs that the governor has is to pick the Secretary of State. It is very important. And so I would like to know, once you're a governor, who will you pick as your Secretary of State and why?
You think I'm gonna say no, don't you, Karen?
I'm already going to be presiding over the Senate, so. But I would be honored to serve with any of you.
That's exactly what went through my mind. No, I think I would pick Steve Harris because I've been impressed with how level-headed he is and how much he knows about the election law and what goes on. And I think he has integrity, and I think that would be a good way to get a boost to prominent libertarians to get his name out there outside of our party.
Patrick Smith, same question. Who would you pick as your Secretary of State, that being one of your jobs as governor, and why?
Not governor. So if there's a not secretary out there that's interested, come talk to me. I am interested. I mean, that's my answer.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Corey, the same question. Once you're governor, one of your jobs is to pick the Secretary of State. Who would you choose and why?
Patrick Smith. I would choose Patrick Smith. I feel that I can trust Patrick in any circumstances when it comes to standing on principle, and that's why I would choose him.
Mark, once you're governor, who would you choose for your Secretary of State and why?
Patrick Smith. In all seriousness,
Well, he's not going to be governor.
it is a process that when I'm governor, I will undertake. The people that I would like to ask for that position would probably turn me down. But I would form a group of people that I can trust to help me with that decision, just like the group of people that I have put together for this campaign that have volunteered for me. People like Dr. Mary Ruart, and just a massive, extensive name of individuals, and I would count on their guidance to pick the best person that is also willing to do the job.
Thank you, sir. So we're going to go to our final comments. Each candidate has 90 seconds. 3 minutes. Oh, gosh, I'll give them so much time. Y'all have 3 minutes for closing remarks, and we'll go in reverse order, so we'll start with Patrick Smith.
So this is a job interview, and I'm asking you to hire me because I have a mouth that can speak our principles well, I think. I have a body which I have used ethically I'm not supposed to laugh at that. And I have a mind that I am using constantly to try and forward our philosophy. I would like you to trust me with the honor of your confidence to amplify your message to the world, starting with Texas, because we're the best. My plan is to carry the Declaration of Individual Independence. There's a draft available now. I was going to read it here, but it won't fit in 3 minutes. But it is so powerful. It is it's the original Declaration of Independence, but the language has been modified to individualize it. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for me to throw off involuntary methods of control over my life. That's the libertarian message that I'm bringing. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Kathy Glass.
I'm running for Texas governor for 2 reasons. One, I want to be Texas governor. I want to unite Texans to fight against 2 threats to our liberty, this out-of-control federal government that we've talked about, but no one leading the charge to push back on them, and the cronyism. We're Texans. We have a history of standing up to tyranny, but we're not showing it very much anymore. That's because we don't have leaders. We need leaders. We don't need rulers, but we do need leaders. Leaders of all sorts, from the governor to the constitutional county sheriff and everybody in between. People have to step up and lead this fight, or we're going to lose it all. We're going to lose our liberty. We're going to lose our constitution. We're going to lose our state. I believe in this, and if you believe in it too, then everything I say resonates with you. But if you don't think we have this threat, or if you think it's okay if America dies and takes Texas with it, then nothing I say will make any sense to you. You will just think, I'm just in it for myself on some ego trip. But for those of us who do believe in these things and want to fight, the odds are long. But Texans have never considered long odds a reason not to fight. The other reason, thank you. The other reason I'm running for governor is I want to lead this party. I want to be the top of the ticket. I want to help our party grow, because the 2-party system is corrupt and broken, and we need to chart a new course. But we have to have something viable for other people who are hungry for a different party, a different way to work, a different way to vote, a different way to fight for liberty. They are hungry. They want to see us step up. And so I want to lead and be one of the many leaders in that fight. I will work as hard as anybody ever could if you give me this honor one more time, and I will do my best to represent you and our principles and to represent Texas. Because I would truly believe in this, and I will never stop fighting. It's like the old joke about the pawn shop owner who was shot 7 times, and the police said, "Why didn't you give up?" He said, "I wasn't out of bullets, and I wasn't dead yet." So as long as I'm not out of bullets, and as long as I'm alive, I'll continue to fight for liberty and for Texas and this party. Thank you very much. I appreciate your vote.
Thank you, Kathy. Mark Tibbetts.
I usually don't write things down, but there's quite a few people that I kind of need to make sure I mention, and you'll get to see me wear glasses tonight. First off, I'd like to thank all the fellow candidates like Corey did. We have up here wonderful people. We have philosophers, activists, recruiters, and international business people. We each do it for different reasons, and we each have our own motivators. My reasons are very, very simple. So my children and grandchildren can live up and be free and prosperous. To unite and grow the Libertarian Party. To grow the party by speaking to Texans, including the Spanish-speaking Texans, as I have been doing over the past several months. To defend Texas against the threat of the federal government, to oppose
harm of a wall on our southern border, to stop the erosion of the relations with our biggest ally, trading partner, neighbor, and brother to the south, to promote free market sustainability by ending crony capitalism, such as corporate welfare, to decriminalize marijuana. In short, I'm not running for governor to be someone. I'm running for governor to do something. I have a lifetime of experience in immigration, trade, and border issues with Mexico. With some, some will propose solutions based on ideas. I will propose solutions based on experience. I do not pretend to know everything, nor do I pretend to have all the answers. But as I've done many times in the past, I do know how to lead. I do know how to put together a team of people who together can and come up with the best solutions for any problem. A team such as the team that backs me now, like Dr. Mary Ruart, Mark Miller, James Warner, Eric Espinosa, Rob Campy, Pat Dixon, and the list is on and on. And I apologize if I didn't get to everybody, but you're in my heart and I love you guys. Thank you.
Quick announcement, if you're an Attorney General candidate, please come to the side right now. If you are running for Attorney General, please come to the side. Sorry for the interruption, guys.
First of all, I want to thank again the candidates on the stage. I know the sacrifice that goes into this. Thank you very much for doing this. I appreciate that. When I started this campaign 11 months ago, there's a couple things that I wanted to make sure. That this campaign led by example with love, and that never once did I talk negative about anybody on stage publicly. We, as a party, need to stay united as a group. I wanted to make sure that. And when we were on the campaign trail for 11 months, it's very important to have a bold, consistent message of freedom, never watering this message down. Freedom is such an amazing thing, and people eat it up when they hear it. And that's why we have so many new people attracted to this message of libertarianism through this campaign. I'm not here to promise you anything. I'm not here to tell you after I get the nomination that I'm bringing these people to you. They're here tonight with me. We have a wonderful woman right here in the front row. Her name's Latanya Whittington. We need more black people in the Libertarian Party. She's a Democratic precinct chair from Harris County. Are you paying attention? She's also the executive director for Houston Normal. Not only do we have Democrats coming over here and joining our party, we have Republicans. We have Angela Jade. She's a Republican precinct chair from, I should say, she's an ex-Republican precinct chair from Tarrant County. We also have another Democrat here. I don't know where she went. She's from Guadalupe, or maybe Williamson County. Gabby, I don't know where you went. Gabby's over there. She's a Democrat. Not this year, she's a Libertarian and she's an alternate for Williamson County. Josh Hanson over here, he's a Republican precinct chair for Harris County. Welcome to the Libertarian Party, buddy. Oh, Michael Anderson, you're back there, Michael Anderson, Republican precinct chair for Harris County. Welcome to the Libertarian Party. I think everybody here gets the point. We wanted to send a message to everybody. We don't have to belittle anybody on this stage to look good. We do it by leading by example, educating people, and having a bold message of libertarianism. This campaign is way past 5%. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't even stare. I don't have to be a libertarian to tell you what to do. Okay?
Or how to do it.
Or how to do it, yes, sir. I can definitely tell you how. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I have been involved in the party since 2013. And this is my third state convention, and we have never had a better crop of candidates than we have today. Know how you're going to decide to vote tomorrow, because it's going to be really hard after tonight. Everybody on this stage has spoken from the heart and has talked to you about liberty and freedom. And I want you to give your 2018 governor candidates the biggest round of applause you can.